In the heart of Southeast Asia lies a land of golden temples and winding rivers, a land once known as Siam. For centuries, it stood as a crossroads of cultures. Traders from India, China, and the Middle East mingled here, while monks carried the teachings of the Buddha across its borders. But Siam's story is not only one of peace and prosperity. It is a story of survival. From its earliest days, Siam was surrounded by powerful rivals: the Burmese to the west, the Khmer to the east, and the Vietnamese beyond. Each saw Siam as both a prize and a threat, and in the centuries that followed, the people of Siam would be tested again and again by the fires of war. The chronicles call these endless struggles Sankram, wars that shaped not just kings and kingdoms, but the very soul of a nation.
The story begins in 1351, when King Ramathibodi I founded the kingdom of Ayutthaya. Rising on the banks of the Chao Phraya River, Ayutthaya became a jewel of Southeast Asia. Its palaces dazzled foreign envoys, its canals brimmed with trade, and its markets echoed with voices from Arabia, China, and Europe. For more than 4 centuries, Ayutthaya stood as one of the wealthiest and most cosmopolitan cities in the world. But prosperity always draws enemies. To the west, the Burmese kingdom of Ava grew restless, watching Ayutthaya's power expand. To the east, the Khmer sought revenge for past defeats. And so, Ayutthaya's rise was shadowed by the threat of Sankram, wars that would return again and again.
By the 16th century, Burma struck. Under King Bayanaung, the Burmese armies swept into Siam with thousands of soldiers, war elephants, and firepower unmatched in the region. The Siamese fought bravely, but Ayutthaya was forced into submission, paying tribute to Burma. Yet Siam never accepted defeat. Time and again, rebellions rose, led by princes, generals, and monks who refused to let Siam become a vassal. These wars were brutal. Villages burned, temples looted, and families torn apart. And yet, in every generation, resistance endured. It was during these endless battles that Siam's identity was forged, not in victory, but in resilience.
From this chaos rose a prince who would become legend, Naresuan. Raised as a hostage in Burma, he learned the ways of his enemies, their tactics, their strength, and their weaknesses. When he returned to Siam, he transformed himself into a warrior king. Naresuan's campaigns against Burma became the stuff of legend, none more famous than the Battle of Nong Sarai in 1593, when he fought the Burmese crown prince in single combat atop war elephants. With one decisive strike, he killed his rival, securing Siam's independence and immortalizing himself as a hero. Yet even Naresuan could not end Sankram forever. His victories brought peace, but only for a time.
After Naresuan, Ayutthaya entered a golden age. The city grew into one of the largest in the world, with a population rivaling London or Paris. Foreign traders marveled at its canals, its golden spires, its endless markets. Diplomats from France, Persia, and Japan sought alliances with the Siamese kings. Yet beneath the splendor lay fragility. Court intrigues weakened the throne. Rival princes fought for power, and enemies beyond the borders never forgot their ambitions. For every golden stupa that rose, an army was already preparing to tear it down. And soon, Sangkran Sarus would return with a vengeance.
In the 18th century, the kingdom's strength began to wane. Burma, under the Konbaung dynasty, launched invasion after invasion. The wars were devastating. Cities were abandoned, harvests destroyed, and hundreds of thousands were taken captive. The Siamese fought with desperation, holding their walls against siege after siege, but the pressure never ceased. In 1767, Ayutthaya, once called the Venice of the East, finally fell. Burmese army stormed the city, burning palaces, looting monasteries, and reducing centuries of history to ash. The fall of Ayutthaya was not just the loss of a capital, it was the collapse of an entire world.
The destruction of Ayutthaya plunged Siam into chaos. Refugees wandered the countryside, hunted by bandits and rival armies. Temples lay in ruins, sacred scriptures turned to ash, and the Siamese people faced the terrifying possibility that their kingdom might vanish forever. Yet even in this darkest hour, hope flickered. Across the ruins, leaders emerged, generals, monks, and princes who refused to surrender to despair. For Siam, the war was not the end, it was the beginning of rebirth. Among the survivors was a warrior of Chinese descent, Taksin. A brilliant strategist and fierce commander, Taksin rallied the remnants of Siam's army. From his base in Thonburi, he launched campaigns to drive out the invaders, reclaim lost lands, and reunite the shattered kingdom. Against all odds, he succeeded. Within a decade, Siam rose from the ashes, its cities rebuilt, its enemies pushed back. Taksin became known as the restorer of Siam, a king who turned despair into strength. Yet his reign was turbulent, and his final years ended in tragedy. Still, his legacy remained, the proof that Siam could survive even the greatest Sangkram. After Taksin, a new dynasty took the throne, the Chakri dynasty, founded by Rama I in 1782. The capital moved to Bangkok, where a new palace rose beside the Chao Phraya River. The Chakri kings rebuilt Siam, restored its temples, and forged alliances with neighbors and distant empires alike. But they also remembered the lessons of Sangkram, that survival required strength, unity, and vigilance. And so Siam stood, scarred by war, yet undefeated.
The 19th century brought new challenges, not from Burma, but from Europe. British gunboats sailed from India, while French troops advanced from Indochina. Once again, Siam stood at the crossroads of empires, but this time, survival would not come from swords and elephants, but from diplomacy. Kings like Mongkut and Chulalongkorn embraced modernization, sending princes to study abroad, building railways and schools, and carefully balancing between East and West. While neighboring lands were swallowed by colonial rule, Siam remained free, the only kingdom in Southeast Asia to preserve its independence.
Though the face of war changed, the memory of Sangkram never faded. Every temple ruin, every burned manuscript, every story told by grandparents carried the weight of centuries of struggle. For Siam, survival was not just political, it was cultural. The people rebuilt their cities, preserved their traditions, and carried forward the memory of kings and warriors who had defended their land. The scars of war became the foundation of identity.
In the 20th century, Siam transformed into modern Thailand. The name changed, but the spirit remained. Wars were replaced by diplomacy, conflict by nation building. Yet the old lessons of Sangkram endured: vigilance, unity, and resilience. Thailand became a modern nation, yet one deeply rooted in its history. From the ashes of Ayutthaya, to the skyscrapers of Bangkok, the journey was long, but the heart of the nation still beat strong.
The story of Siam defeated by Sangkram is not a story of defeat at all. It is a story of survival. Again and again, Siam was attacked, burned, and broken. And yet, each time it rose again, stronger than before. Today, Thailand's temples gleam under the sun, its cities bustle with life, and its people carry forward a legacy carved in fire and resilience. For every war that threatened to erase it, Siam answered with endurance. And so, the story continues, a nation forever shaped but never destroyed by Sangkram.